Debbie was walking into her train company for the first time. She was humbly welcomed by the gate man, who looked so happy to see her, and other staffs in the company. Debbie was given a proper orientation about the do's and don'ts of the company, things she had to do and things she was not permitted to do in any way. To which Debbie listened attentively to everything her manager had told her. Debbie is working in Crescent multinational company, which is a beauty empire. Crescent deals with all kinds of beauty products, ranging from cosmetics to bags, various products. And Debbie was supposed to come in as a marketing personnel in Crescent empire. As the days went by, the sweet ambience that once welcomed Debbie turned into a very toxic environment, as most of her colleagues barely spoke to her and also made her do all the jobs. They always told her, you're a junior staff and you have to obey us. We are showing you the way. So they always gave her their works to do, making Debbie to skip lunch regularly. Debbie had to always come to work with sandwich or fruits so she could eat while she worked during lunch break, whereas the senior colleagues always went out for lunch break, having the time of their lives. Debbie couldn't believe that the dream company she had always looked forward to work in was very, very toxic. Not just that these colleagues of hers were very, very toxic and annoying, they as well created a group chat. In those group chats, they tend to insult Debbie to stupor, making her feel like someone that was not worthy to work in Crescent. Being that they came out from the best and most expensive schools, they had graduated from the prestigious university, whereas Debbie just graduated from a community school. Based on her CV, she wasn't even in their category in any way. Debbie was not supposed to be working with them. To them, it was just a charity case. And with this, the pressure became much on Debbie, as most of her senior colleagues gave her their work to do. So Debbie had to finish whatsoever that was given to her every day and present it to them the next morning. At this point, Debbie got tired, and the very first day she decided to speak up to a senior colleague who had made it a point of duty to embarrass her dressing and as well still even give her much work to do. The senior colleague insulted her. This senior colleague, Amaka made it a point of duty to make sure that Debbie pays for the insults, the humiliation she had caused her in front of other people. Amaka vowed to teach Debbie a lesson, and as the days went by, with Debbie forgetting everything that had happened between Amaka, Debbie felt that they were good, they were okay, since Amaka kept on giving her most of her jobs. Unknown to Debbie, Amaka was looking for the right time, the best time to pay Debbie back. And one certain day, a new product had just come in, and these products were actually supposed to be kept in the cold room. So that evening, while they were offloading, Amaka had strictly instructed Debbie to go wait in the cold room and ensure that she counted every product that came in order not to make any mistake, insisting that if she doesn't finish it, she shouldn't close for the day. Unknown to Debbie, while Amaka instructed her to go to the cold room, Amaka had the intention of locking her in the cold room. This was something Amaka had been waiting for a long time. So the moment Debbie went to the cold room and was counting this product, trying to ensure that they were complete, Amaka jammed the door of the cold room, and this cold room can only be opened from outside. So when Debbie was done counting the carton and wanted to leave the cold room, she found out that the door was closed and most members of staff had closed for the day. She could not see anyone. She was not even with her phone. At that time, her phone was on the decks. Debbie started crying. She sat down on the floor and started shedding tears. She asked herself, is this how I'm going to end? Is this how my life is going to end? What did I ever do to deserve this? She cried and wept bitterly. And while Debbie sat down in the cold room, believing that help was going to come, help did not come. It was far past 30 minutes and help did not come. At this point, Debbie got so cold. Her hands were beginning to turn pale. All parts of her body were seriously cold. Debbie didn't know what to do. She started praying deep within that someone was going to find out that she had not yet clocked out for the day and was going to come save her. And while Debbie was in the midst of misery, pain, and about to die, the gatesman had noticed that most of the staff had closed for the day, apart from Debbie. He was so sure that Debbie had not closed for the day because Debbie was the only person that responds to his greeting. Other people just shove his greeting by the side. Whenever he greets them, they don't respond. They look at him like it's wax. Debbie was the only person that accepted his greeting and, if possible, returned the greeting with a smile. And whenever she had 2 snacks, she always tried to reach out to the gatesman. So when the members of staff had closed for the day, he noticed that Debbie had not yet come out. And he quickly started looking for Debbie around the whole facility. He searched every part. And even when he got to Debbie's office and found out that Debbie wasn't there, he noticed that her phone was still there. And that was what dragged his attention. And he quickly asked himself, how come Debbie's phone is still at work? If she had closed for the day, her phone and her bag is not supposed to still remain at work. So he quickly tried to check the cold room. And to his greatest surprise, Debbie was in the cold room. Williams was so surprised to see her in the cold room, he quickly brought her out of the cold room and did all necessary things to help to get her stable. The moment Debbie was slightly stable, Williams helped to take her to the hospital. And when they got to the hospital, Debbie was properly admitted in the clinic as the doctors wanted to carry out all necessary tests to be sure that she was fine and she was okay and good and fit to return back to work. Williams was grateful that he had come to her rescue. Williams was really, really glad, and he quickly asked her, Miss Debbie, please, who would have done this to you? But Debbie didn't want to call out Amaka, knowing fully well that if she calls out Amaka, Amaka might do times 2. So she told herself that it was better to keep quiet and not say anything. To which she quickly told Williams that, I'm sorry, but I don't know. You know, we were offloading some goods, so probably they thought everybody had left before they shut the door. So I can't really see who did this to me. Williams felt she was not being sincere, but he couldn't push further. So he told her, please and please, always be careful. If you feel like you have to do something, you can keep something by the door side so that the moment you're done, you can close the door perfectly well. To which Debbie thanked him. That night, Williams also asked Debbie to try to inform her parents about what had happened so that her parents would not be looking for her, to which Debbie did and told William thank you that he could leave as her parents were going to soon arrive. The moment Debbie's parents arrived, Debbie was taken to a private room to which she was properly attended to. She was so glad, she was grateful that Williams had come to her help. If not, nobody would have known what was going to happen to her. And as the days went by, Debbie had tried to speak to the manager concerning what had happened, how the work environment wasn't safe for anyone. Though she wasn't willing to call out any name, but she made a formal complaint about what was going on in the work premises. But the manager did not pay any attention to it. To him, Debbie was from a low class and should know her place. She shouldn't try to brush shoulders with her elders, neither should she try to brush shoulders with the rich. So he did not even pay attention to anything Debbie had written in her complaint. And that was how things continued paying for Debbie. Debbie had to undergo series of trials from these cruel workers of hers in order to survive every day. Debbie actually saw life from a different aspect. The company she once dreamt of working for became her horror, became a nightmare for her, as whenever she returned home, she was so tired and had little or nothing to speak about the day. She was always very upset. Her co-workers were making it hell hard for them. One day, Debbie had asked for the director of the company, to which they told her that the director had not yet resumed and nobody knows the director. Unknown to them, the director of the company was working in the company but was working under disguise, so no one knew who he is. Williams, being the director of the company, the moment his father handed over the company to him, Williams had told his father that he won't want to step in as a director immediately, knowing fully well that if he does, he wasn't going to know everything that was going on behind closed door. He wasn't going to know the way people were being treated, and he wasn't going to know the way the staff felt. That it was better he works as the lowest person in the company. Initially, his father wanted to make him a cleaner, but he said no, that whoever sits by the gate knows who goes in and who comes out. So he would prefer to be a gatesman. And that was why Williams took the job of a gatesman. And as the days went by, with Williams closely observing everyone working in the company and also observing Debbie, he gradually started getting attracted to Debbie. He loved Debbie for who Debbie was. He really, really loved Debbie. And with time, he decided to ask Debbie out. Though he wasn't sure if Debbie was going to accept him, being that he's a gatesman, and she does not know who he truly was. He summoned the courage and asked Debbie to please go out with him, to which Debbie accepted. Debbie was a very free-minded person. She didn't categorize people based on class, wealth, or what they've achieved. She told Williams no problem, that she could hang out with him, that they could take it one step at a time from being friends, then they could gradually elevate to dating, to which Williams accepted, and their gradual friendship turned out to serious dating, as Williams was always looked out for Debbie. Knowing fully well that she was being maltreated by her senior colleagues, he was always looking out for Debbie, and even when the work was too much for Debbie, William would always try to extend a hand of help. Most times Debbie would tell him not to worry, that he doesn't really know most things about the marketing strategy of the company, so she was going to handle it by herself. Williams was done completing his 1-year training as a junior staff in Crescent Multinational Company. His dad had spoken to him that it was time for him to step up and become a director, that he had used 1 year to actually gather all information he needed to know about the company, to which Williams accepted and told his father that it was time for him to take over, time for him to show his face as the director of the company. The day he was supposed to present himself as the director, he didn't know how Debbie was going to feel about it. He didn't know if Debbie was supposed to be excited about it or be nervous about it, being that they've been dating and he had never made mention of it. But he told himself, one way or the other, she was still going to find out. So it was better I present myself now rather than later, and she was going to feel disappointed about it. That Monday morning, he was properly dressed in his beautiful blue suit, properly assisted by his PA and other members of board as they introduced Williams as the new director of the company. When most staff saw him, they initially started laughing and making fun of the whole situation, insisting that if it was a joke, that the members of the board should please stop it, knowing that Williams was the gatesman. And immediately, Williams introduced himself and called his full name. My name is Williams Okafor. And that was when it clicked to them that Williams is the sole heir of the Okafor's dynasty. And Crescent Multinational Company was just one of the Okafor's property. Everybody quickly bowed and greeted him. Good morning, sir. To which William dismissed them and immediately went to his office. The moment he got to his office, he decided to make a great impact in the company. He started by sending out those staff who had maltreated their junior workers one way or the other, those staff who felt they were too high to do a lot of things, those staff who had abused their power and authority. He sent each and every one of them out of the company, one after the other. And when it was time for him to talk to Debbie about the whole situation, he had invited Debbie to his office. When Debbie saw him, she greeted him, good morning, sir. Williams quickly closed the window and asked Debbie to please come close. Debbie was a bit skeptical about the whole thing, and she quickly asked him, so you're the director of the company? To which William said yes. And Debbie said, so why didn't you tell me? We've known for a period of 6 months, so why didn't you make mention of it? William had explained that he didn't feel it was necessary at that point, as he was still working undercover and could not blow his cover. So he needed to finish before informing her. Debbie was a bit sad. She didn't like the idea of him showing up as a director without informing her. But she told him, no problem, we're going to see after work. And she left the office. And after work for that day, Williams had gone to meet Debbie in their secret corner where they always met. I tried to explain everything for Debbie. And while he was explaining everything for Debbie, trying to make Debbie understand his reasons why he couldn't blow up his cover, Debbie totally understood and told him not to worry, that she totally understood everything that was going on. That night, Debbie told Williams that she totally understood him. She understood the direction where he was coming from and she forgave him. Williams hugged her tightly and thanked her for understanding everything that was going on. So Debbie quickly told Williams that she has one request. To which Williams asked her what was the request. And Debbie asked that Amaka was not sent out of the company. Amaka should remain in the company and pay for her sons. Amaka was going to be in charge of teaching other junior colleagues so that she's going to learn to appreciate people no matter the class they come from. Williams actually asked her, do you think she's going to be able to teach or impact knowledge to other colleagues? Debbie said yes, she will. She's paying for her sons. She has no other option than to do it. Considering the fact that she was supposed to be sacked, she's going to choose to do it over being sacked, over being jobless. Williams said, okay, no problem. Your wish is my command. So as the days went by, Williams decided to introduce Debbie to his parents. The moment Williams' parents met Debbie, they liked her presence. They enjoyed her presence. Her company was great. She was a free-spirited person. She held no grudge with anybody. She just wanted to be a happy person. William's parents loved everything about Debbie. And the moment Debbie had left their house that evening, they called William and asked him if he was planning to get married to Debbie. To which William said yes. And after giving this a serious thought, his parents called him the next morning and told him, we approve of your marriage with Debbie. We don't want you to go into a marriage that was arranged. And at the end of the day, you hate us for it. Since you found a lady that you genuinely love, then you can go for it. Few days after the communication with his parents, Williams decided to go pay Debbie's parents a visit. And when he got to Debbie's parents' house, he was shocked. Debbie wasn't from a poor home, like a very poor home. She was from an average home. And everything seemed okay in her home. So why was Debbie taking all those bullying, all those harsh words, all those harsh treatment from her colleagues? He didn't know how to ask her in front of her parents. So he enjoyed the dinner with them. Debbie introduced him to her parents, to which her parents also gave their blessings, knowing fully well that Debbie had never brought any man home. Williams was the first man Debbie was bringing home, and if Debbie says she likes Williams, that means she really likes Williams. And after they were done having dinner, while Debbie was walking Williams to his car, Williams quickly asked her, you're from an average home and you're not poor, so why were you taking all those harsh treatments at work? Debbie looked at him and said, I chose to. When you go into a new organization, you should know that everything cannot be perfect the way you want it to be. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to work with various people, even though most of them are no longer in the company because they were being inhuman, they were just being wicked, they were being bad. But I had the opportunity to know how the world feels. I had the opportunity to work in the labor market and see the world for a different aspect. Initially, I thought that everything was just going to go on smooth. I got to see that life is not always going to be the way you plan it to be. So I'm glad I was able to work with the people I worked with. Williams looked at her and said, you're quite a unique one, you know. Other people would have complained and nagged about the harsh treatment, but you're seeing it like a blessing in disguise. That's good though. Debbie said yes. To me, it's a blessing in disguise because I learned one or two from them. Not like I didn't learn something from them. I actually learned something from them. But it's their bad behavior that sends them out of the company. So that's a different thing. And as the days went by, Williams got married to Debbie. And Debbie became an important figure in the company. Debbie also made Amaka teach every new person how to handle the company and what to do and what not to do. Amaka stayed in the company more because she had to pay for her sins, according to Debbie. So Amaka learned to appreciate people. She learned never to look down on anyone because most of her friends that worked hand in hand with her were no longer in the company. So she was lonely, but she couldn't resign because she had signed an agreement with Debbie that she was going to remain in that company until she was done paying for her sons. Debbie was glad that the working environment had changed to a very beautiful space, a place where you can breathe in fresh air, not somewhere that was very toxic for people to work. She was glad that Williams had taken over and become the director. She was glad that things had changed gradually. Debbie really loved and enjoyed coming to work now. She wasn't feeling tense. Even when she was done for the day, she had time to herself. She didn't have to work overtime. She even had time to go to lunch with her husband. Everything was going on as planned. And this was what Debbie had always looked forward to. And with the passing days, Debbie took in and gave birth to a bouncing baby boy. Williams was really, really glad. He was glad that he found someone. He was glad that he was able to take his company to a greater height, knowing fully well that if he had just come in as the director, he wouldn't have been able to fish out the bad eggs. Both couple lived in peace, living happily ever after, learning more about one another, and trying to walk towards greater heights.